It's been a while since I modeled anything. I've been really busy with my daughter and my dogs. But I am going to make an attempt to do something here. I'm going to model a very simple watch. And it's got a couple of cool aspects to it. So I'm here in the default scene for Blender, and I'm going to select everything, A to select, and delete everything. I'm also going to switch over to Cycles Render and choose my GPU compute. Alright, so let's hit N and open up the side panel and add matte cap, ambient occlusion, and that shader. And let's also come up to display and get rid of the grid floor. Alright, so I'm going to hit 7 and 5, and I'm going to look down in top ortho view, and let's do that again. And I'm going to go Shift A and add a circle, and that's going to be the the main watch part. All right, I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to hit F to make a face and E to extrude, and I'm going to pull it up, so making the thickness of the watch. All right, I am going to make sure I've got origin set to geometry, so it's right in the middle. Back into edit mode, and the way I will do this, I think, is there's my top view. Let's get into face view. I hit 3 for the side, and I'm going to select that and that poly. So the sort of 2 central ones, and then another one, and another one, another one, and another one. So I've got a total of 6 on that side. And I'm going to go Control 3 to go to the exact opposite side, Shift, and click on 6 on that side as well. All right. Then I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I'm going to scale them in the X direction together. So I'm going to pull them out in the X direction. So I'm going to go SX, and I'm just going to pull my mouse like that. Now you can see they're quite curved, and I want them straight, so I'm going to deselect, and then I'm going to come over to one of them and Shift and select all of these. And I'm going to scale them in the X direction. So imagine that's the X axis. I want them all at X0, so they're all straight. So I'm going to go SX0 and complete that, and then deselect, and then do the same on this side. All right, again in the X direction, so I'm going to go SX0. All right, so now they're all straight. I'm going to leave those selected, and I'm going to come over here and Shift and select these ones as well. And yeah, that's good. Okay, and now I want to taper them inwards a little bit in the Y direction, sort of make them come in a bit of an angle. So I'm going to go Scale Y, and I'm just going to pull them like that. Okay, so that's going to taper both sides just slightly. Now what I'll do is I'll deselect everything, and I'll come back and I'll select these ones again. And I'm going to rotate these around the Y down a little bit. So I'm going to go rotate Y. Let's go with 5. That's good enough for the moment. And I'm going to do the same on this side. Rotate Y 5, but negative. All right, so they're sort of slightly facing downwards. And I'm going to select them all again, and I'm going to pull them down a little bit like that. Okay, and now I think I will scale them in the Z to squeeze them a little bit like that. And then I am going to hit the I key, inset, and I've got both sides selected like that. And then I'm going to hit E to extrude, and I want to pull this side in the X and this side in the X. So I'm just going to go Scale X, and just pull them in just a little bit like that. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Let's go ahead and save this as watch tutorial, I guess. Not that I'm teaching anybody anything, but all right. Now I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to select this top face of the watch, and I'm going to hit I to extrude. I'm going to pull it in. E to extrude, or I to inset, sorry, E to extrude. I'm going to pull this down. And let's scale a little bit, S to scale. I'm going to hit I to inset again, to about there. E to extrude, I'm going to pull it up a ways, and then scale again. All right. Select the bottom face, I to inset, like that. Then I'm going to pull it down a bit. hide inset again to about there. I'm going to pull it down a bit more. Okay. So let's come out, save. All right, let's go ahead and put on a subdivision surface of 2 and smooth. Start to get a sense of what we've got here. Let's put in some edge loops here on the side. Control R and bring it up near the top. Control R, bring it down near the bottom. Let's do one here on this side. Control R, bring it close to the end. Not quite at the end though. Control R, just like that. Okay, let's have a look at that. All right, so that's what we have so far. I'm going to come over to the bottom here in edit mode, and I'm going to select this bottom face. I want to duplicate this face, Shift D, and then P to make it a new object. So just click on selection and go back in object mode and select that face, set origin to geometry. I'm going to pull this down a little ways. This is sort of like the battery compartment. It has inherited the subdivision surface. I'm going to turn that off for the moment. And let's zoom in on that and go into edit mode and select it. E to extrude, and I'm going to pull it up a little bit to give it some thickness. And I'll select it all and go Control N, flip any polys that were in the wrong orientation. I'm going to put an edge loop there and an edge loop here, and go back out of edge mode, whatever, and put on my subdivision surface. And I'm just going to bring this up to make contact and just sort of push it in a little bit there. So that would be like the battery compartment of the watch. Okay. Now we'll come back to working on the watch face in a bit. But right now we're going to do the watch band. I may need to push these in a little bit further. We're going to see how it goes. I want to select this, make sure that my cursor is at the selected. I'm then going to go Shift A and bring in a curve, not a mesh, but a curve circle. Okay, now it's laying like this, so I'm going to rotate X90, and I'm going to start scaling it up. This is going to be for the watch band, and I'm going to bring it down so that it sticks out of these places right here, and try to imagine the size of a watch band. This part can be a little tricky. I don't know. We'll go with something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to save there. With this circle selected, I'm going to go Shift A, cursor to selected, and I'm now going to bring in a mesh cube, and I want to look at this space here because these are going to make the little links of the watch band, and I want them to fit that space or be roughly a similar size. So I'm going to scale this into Y like that. Scale it to Z, make it nice and thin. Scale it in the X. So just imagine you're making a little link, little piece in the, let's zoom in the watch band. All right, and this is the part that can be fun. You can be pretty creative about. Now I've scaled this and I want to do some work on it, so I'm going to go Control A, and that's going to just apply scale. Okay, or object, apply scale right there. Now you'll notice it's changed its color a little bit. That's because the polys have flipped now. So I'm going to hit A, make sure it's all selected, and Control N. Now what I want to do is in face selection mode, I want to grab that face there, and I'm going to hit I to inset. I'm going to pull this in, and it doesn't really matter if it's equal on all sides, but it looks pretty good. E to extrude, and I'm just going to pull this up a little ways, just like that. And I'm going to select the ends, and I'm going to inset again, and I want to extrude them out, so I'm going to E to extrude, and I'm going to go scale Y and pull them out like that. And let's leave it like that for the time being. You can do other design elements. Make sure I've saved and applied scale. Let's try the Bevel Modifier now. 2 segments, and I'll just bring down the width a little bit. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. Now I'm going to start to, I want to make the watch band, so I'm going to array this, add modifier array, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space, and I'm just going to bring the count up pretty high. Okay, now this is the fun part. I've got an array modifier on this, and now I'm going to add Modifier Curve. And with the eyedropper, I'm going to select that curve, and you can start to see that it's curving around. Now, this is the part that's it gets a little bit weird. You got to try to align this. So I'm going to pull in the X direction, and you can see it's starting to curve, go around this curve. So I'm going to pull it out to there, but I'm going to look at from the side view, and you can see I'm sort of trying to get it roughly even here. But now my origin is way out here. I'm just going to go set origin to 3D cursor. Is going to pop it back in the middle. Now I need more links in this chain, so I'm going to start adding them, but they only add to one side. So start doing that. Okay, pull it out again. Add some more links like this and pull it out. And if you find that your cursor is way off to the side, just go origin of 3D cursor. Now that's getting there. I think I want to add a little bit more. Let's leave it at that for the moment because, oh, and by the way, the cool thing is you can see your design. So if you want to, let me just show you this. I can go edit, and all of a sudden it's gone, but it's over here. So just find it, okay? And if I select this, let's say, and I could inset again, make a nice thin one, E to extrude. Now watch these ones. You start seeing it form, and maybe Control B and come back and bevel it. Maybe even just like that, okay, and then it's gone again, but it's popped back in line here. All right, so you can do some cool things with the band. I think actually we do need maybe one more. Let's look at the side, and let's sort of try to get it pretty even. I may actually need more. Let's go for the moment with that. And I'm going to hide that, H to hide it. And with this selected and still cursor selected, I'm going to go Shift A and bring in a plane. Now I'm going to make this plane also a similar width here, a little bit smaller though. And I'll bring back that band in a minute. Scale in the Y direction. I'm going to do that for now. I'm going to scale it in the X. And then I'm going to go into edit mode. And I'm going to go E to extrude, and I'm going to give it a little bit of thickness, not too much. All right. Now I'm going to select the two end polys that are facing the curve, and I'm going to delete them. And I'm also going to roll my mouse up when I do Control R and add a bunch of edge loops because I'm going to be bending this. All right. Now add array, and let's just bump this up a good amount. I'll press merge as well. And let's add, now we've got the array, let's add the curve modifier again. Choose the same curve and do that. Let's go back to this view. X. And so 3D. Let's go up another one. And this one, I want to go into this spot. So I'm going to go scale in the Y, make it a bit wider. I can do that. I can add smoothing as well if I want. What I can also do, we could add edge split if we don't like it like that too much. Okay, let's leave those there. I'm not applying anything yet. Let's go Alt H and bring back that. What I've done is this is like the sort of like an elastic band or some kind of band, rubberized band that's inside here. All right, and connects to there, and that's basically what I want for my watch band itself. Now you could take this part and you could scale it in the Y if you wanted it a bit wider, if you thought that looked good. It's up to you what you think looks good, but let's say that's okay. So once you're relatively satisfied, you select your item and just start applying the modifiers. Okay, I'm gonna hide it again. Take this one, I'm gonna apply, Alt H, bring everything back, Control S, save it. I don't actually need this curve anymore, so I could delete that. I'm done with that. And let's have a little look at the watch itself. So let's Shift S cursor to selected and add some you know, elect some gears to turn. Add a circle, bring it up, scale it down. I'll bring it over here. Let's go into edit mode and F to make face, E to extrude, bring it up. Let's zoom in on that. So we're gonna make a little dial here. Let's put in two edge loops like that, and scale them in the Z to separate them out like that, so that I have a little bit of space here, and I've got some polys in between. And then in edge selection, grab the top, and Shift Alt, click that edge, and let's bevel that. Control B, pull back, not too far, just maybe to there. Roll your mouse up a couple times, and then we'll grab this face. I'll hit I to inset, E to extrude. I'll pull it down a bit and scale. I'll go I to inset one more time, E to extrude one more time. I'll pull it up and bevel back. Two segments. Why not? We're also going to have to select the bottom, I to inset, and we're going to make the little stem that this sits on, E to extrude, and pull it down when it attaches to the watch body. Now the fun part is to Shift Alt click this line right here and select that whole row of polys, and then we're going to hit I twice, I, and that puts a little bit of space. Pull your mouse in to give it more space, and click to accept, but don't unselect these. Click on extrude individual and pull down with your mouse. Extrude individual, pull down with your mouse, and you see them pushing out a little bit. Just go to about maybe there, and don't lose that selection. Go Control B, pull back to bevel, and I'm going to put one segment in there, and now I'm ready to deselect all that stuff. All right, I'm going to hit smooth, and I think I will also choose for the modifiers edge split, and that will be my one of my dials anyhow. So I'm going to rotate this around the X, rotate X 90 minus, and bring that in, and from the side I'm going to look at this, and perhaps that's too big, so I'm going to scale it just globally like that. Okay, so there's one of my dials, and I can Shift D, copy it, and bring it over here. I can scale it even smaller like that. Let's look at the top view and bring it in. I'm going to rotate in the Z, and we're just going to position that in here. Okay. And if I want this on the other side as well, I'll make sure that I select the main body of the watch, which is all symmetrical. Shift S, cursor selected, and come back, select my little dial here. Let's apply that edge split, select my dial, and go mirror across with the eyedropper, select the watch itself in the Y direction. Now I've got it exactly on the other side. Okay, and I should just apply that mirror. Now if I want, there, let's go object, origin to geometry. Yeah, there we go. My mouse is sticking here. Okay, if I want to change the size of this one, I can select, or if I want to do something different, I can select that, say hit I, and I can go E to extrude, I can bring it in. You know, I can work individually on the dials, particularly like that though. All right, so here's what we have so far. Maybe we want to put a design element on here, I don't know what exactly, and we want it to come in at the right spot. I'll select this edge because that's nice and central here, and I go Shift S, cursor to selected, and then I'll go back into object mode, and then if I go, you know, bring in a cube, let's say, and scale it, you know, it's in the right space. Scale in the Y as well. Scale in Z. Okay, let's see, make it nice and thin. We zoom in on it, maybe scale in the X as well. I don't know. Let's rotate in the Y. And then you can switch to normal as well. And you can do something like that. Scale this in the Z. I don't know, let's go Control A and scale. I don't know if this is something that we would want to do. Perhaps you would. Shift D, do another one. Scale it in the Y. Scale it in the X. What if I take both of these and I just move them up a little bit? Could that possibly be a good design element? Or what if I took this, Shift D, and brought it up here as well? If I did like that, I could take this, let's apply that bevel, and I could mirror it, I believe. I can mirror this across the watch here. Oh, why not? Okay, and just apply that. Let's just leave that for now, and so make sure that we're on the watch. Okay. So now what I'll do, let's just look down on it there. Maybe I can select it all. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to look at it the way it is. Alrighty. Okay, so that's fine. Let's put some tick marks that go around this. So Shift S, bring in another cube, scale it way down. Okay, so 12 is going to be up there. Scale in the Y, and in the Z, and in the X too. Scale this again in the Y. Control A, we've changed the scale, so do that. You might want to go in and select it all, and Control N if you can't tell if the polys have flipped. It's fine. Let's add the bevel and just reduce the width a little bit, so I get something like that. Scale in the Z. So I just want it there. I don't want it too big or anything. And you know, the surface is curved a little bit. I could try to. I don't know if I have to rotate this. I guess maybe I do. Rotate Y, I'll hold Shift, and I'll rotate it a little bit. Maybe just like that. Alright, let's find the position that I like. So, let's say I'm looking at it there, and let's say I figure it's got to go out a bit more. And then I'll put the numbers underneath that. Okay, so I want to spin this around. All right, around this circle here and make a bunch of little tick marks. So I select it. I'll make sure I can save and apply scale. I'm going to go into edit mode, select it, and over here under add, the mesh tools add, I'm going to spin. And I'm going to choose, instead of 90, I'm going to choose 360 to go all the way around the circle. And how many steps I want, maybe I think I'm going to choose 12. All right, and you're going to notice that they look all dark. Looks like it's cut in. Okay, select. Hit A to select them all, remove doubles, and by the way, I can be in global. And also, watch the color. I'm going to do Control N. Watch the colors. Control N. All right, some had polys that were flipped, so I would have that. All right, so they're all there, they're all together. I can also go set origin to geometry like that. And how did they deal with their rotation? Okay. Looks all right. Looks okay. Yeah. All right. So I've still got that there, and so I am going to go Shift A and bring in a circle, and let's make the little central circle part there that would hold the watch hands. Okay. Select it. F to make face. E to extrude, and bring it up just a little bit, not too much. Zoom right in. Okay, so I can adjust this, and I'm going to inset, heat extruding to bring it up, and then I'm going to go heat extrude and scale outwards, maybe like that, heat extrude up, and then I'm going to go Control B and bevel down, like that. I want to be leaving a little bit of space in between. I may not have done the greatest job on that. Let me select this again and choose all. Let's see, choose all these faces and go Control Plus and just pull them down to give myself more space, and then deselect, come out, and lift the whole thing up. I want to. Well, I'm going to be adding a subdivision surface to this, so I don't know if I need to bevel. Let's see. Well, I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to put an edge loop in here, just like that. And put an edge loop here, and maybe that's enough. Okay, let's take this and push it into the surface. It might be a little bit too big, but we'll see. It may not actually have enough space in there. I don't think there is enough space in there. Okay, so let's look at this at the side in Wireframe and Vertex, and I can just beat a box select all of this. I'm going to pull this down, give myself some more space. And while I'm at it, I think I will add an edge loop there just to do this kind of thing. Okay. Solid view, and then bring it down. Hopefully that's giving me the room that I would need. Okay. I'm going to select that, Shift S cursor to select it, and I'm going to make the watch hands. So I'm going to bring in a plane, scale it in the Y, so it's narrower than this, scale it in the X. Okay. I would scale in the Y a little bit less, a little bit more. Let's go into this in edit mode and give it some thickness, heat extrude. Pull it up a little bit, and it just depends what you want to do. Maybe I'll put an edge loop here, and then grab the top face and scale in the Y, just that part there. I don't know if that's going to look any good or not. I could still grab this edge and move it down. I can do that, and I could inset. Nah, I don't want to inset. I could grab this face, Shift D, P to make it a new object. Bring it up. I'll scale it in the X a bit. Scale it in the Y. And go into it, select it, E, and give it some thickness. Select, Y, Control N, make sure the polys are facing the right way. Oh, I should really round this. All right, let's round these edges. Grab the vertical edges just like this, and go Control B. Nope. Okay, when that happens, when it doesn't look right, make sure you do Object Apply Scale. Go back. Now watch the bevel. It'll cut the edges nicely. Roll them up just a couple of segments, doesn't have to be much, such a small detail. I'm going to push this through here. Just make sure it goes all the way through, and then grab this. Yeah, and go Boolean difference with respect to that. Apply that. I don't think I need that anymore. I made it a hole through. Now Control A and scale, and let's see how the bevel works on this. Just a straight bevel like that. Okay, and that's one hand there. And let's just take this and Shift D and copy it. Let's just bring it up, and let's try just a global scale. I could, if I want to scale better, I could select, say, an edge, like right at the bottom, set my pivot point, my pivot point to that, and then come out and then go. And then scale in the X, and it'll just kind of scale better towards there. Let's say I did that, and I brought this down. I know they're not fitting in the right spot. They might be too thick. So I'm going to both scale in the Z. Make them nice and thin. That's all right. Let's make sure that they're, this one say there. And this one say there. Let's say that's what we wanted. And in reality, what I'll do is I'll move all of this stuff up a bit, because I'm going to put some numbers. And what have I done? So like that. And back to this, side view, wireframe, vertex for me works best. Grab maybe this much, pull it down to give some space. I don't know if I need to move that down. I don't really, but I could. I could anyhow. And now I'm already out. You can look at this and make sure that this is on the surface, and then these can just come down a little bit more. And hopefully I still have enough room for my number. But what I do want to do is I want to rotate this, and I'll just rotate it with respect to that thing. So I'll select that thing, and I'm going to go, how should I do this? Rotate Z, rotate Z, move it to there. I'll take this one, rotate Z, and I'll move this one like this. Okay. I hope those are still visible enough, not too thin. Let's put some numbers on this. Shift A, text. Okay, let's rotate Z 90 and bring it over. Let's, by the way, go back to median point, and in the fonts, let's text tab. Let's choose center. Scale it down, and let's put a couple of numbers on here. Let's edit, go 12. All right, and we'll give it some depth. Let's zoom in on that, and some extrusion, a general position, which can be adjusted in a moment, and size. I'll make it a bit smaller. Save, and let's actually choose a different font. Boy, I don't know. Just something, whatever. Doesn't really matter too much. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's try that. Let me just make sure that we are actually touching the surface and a little bit embedded. And that looks like the hands would go over. Okay. So I'd have a 12. Let's copy that, bring it down here, and go into edit mode. Make that 6. Okay. Okay, good enough. Shift D, and we'll bring it up to here and over to here. And we'll make that 3. And Shift D and bring it over here. And make it a 9. Let's see how that looks. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take the watch face, and I'm going to just go ahead and apply that subdivision surface. And those things, I'm going to join them to the body. Take these, and I'm going to apply and join them. And we'll go ahead and do this one, apply that. These, apply the bevels. if that's what it was. I think that's what it was. Grab all of those, and this, join it. For each number, I'm going to have to go Alt-C and convert it to a mesh. So I'll do that. And then I'll select all the numbers, and I'll join it. This guy, everything's cool, so I can just join it. This guy, apply that, and join it. And let's take the watch band, nothing on that, and that guy, and this, and join it. And that is basically it. We can look with a different matte cap, different material, shading down here. Close that up if we want. Oh boy. All right. If that's your, if you want to do that, or you could try to put a material on. I'll just leave it like that for the moment. And let's set up it's just an Opengl render. Let's get a position that you like that shows a bit of detail. All right, and go ahead and render it, and that's basically it.